please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Supplemental. If we are successful in our attempt to steal this beast, I may need to pay for a boatload of art. All for the new rooms, right? I think instead we're going to prostitute Bork and the NPC crew out to raise the funds. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is an additional video for the week, and the reason why is because it covers something I've also covered on the Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo channel that I think is only right to be addressed now. On the Omegon 2 channel I spoke of someone called Susie Green. Susie Green was trending on Twitter because, turns out, they did a TED talk talking about how they essentially transitioned their son from an early age to get back at their husband, who was at the time quite homophobic in their eyes. Yes, it's quite a dick move. The son, now a daughter, has a clear and obvious case of Stockholm Syndrome and refuses to understand what we all saw, because they themselves believe that there was something small and wrong about them, something which their mother, Susie Green, laughed about in another video when referencing the fact that putting a child on puberty blockers meant they were a little bit underdeveloped downstairs. Who doesn't love a good joke, am I right, folks? Oh, it's so funny! Well, another video was doing its rounds on Twitter, concerning another set of parents doing something quite bad, concerning another child while thinking they're doing it right because they spotted something from an early age. Oh my god! If we are successful in this video, it will be uploaded to YouTube, but because it involves an interview, there's a chance it'll be a copyright claim and strike and blah blah blah. If you are interested in watching the Susie Green video, I'm going to link it down below. I'm going to highly recommend you watch it so you understand how frustrating it is to see someone build an entire career as a fraud, to still champion their fraudulent career, all the while permanently, irreparably harming their child by circumventing the system in favor of going to another country for a shortcut finish. Shortcut being double-meaninged in this, yes.
Basically, at about 24 months, here's where she started grabbing the tutus and the dresses.
If at the age of 2 your child starts to grab toys, chances are your child is a child. I have a nephew, I have 2 in fact, and 4 nieces, and this nephew is the youngest. He puts his hands on anything. Why? Because it's something. Kids love these things called things. Doodahs, what's-its. If it's colourful, they will gravitate towards it. It does not mean they have gender dysphoria at the age of 2. At the age of 2, their body is still growing. At no point in that process will their body have developed and their brain developed enough to be able to understand what they're doing. You have to be beyond thick to believe that the age of 2 is an indicator of a trans child. How desperate were you for a trophy kid? Really? How bad did your parents abuse you that you thought it okay to abuse a child? Be honest.
By 3.5, Kieran had transitioned to a girl.
No, that's not what happened at all. By 3.5, the parents had forced a transition onto their child. Tell me you are a selective science denier that relies on WebMD for diagnosis without telling me you're a selective science denier that uses WebMD for diagnoses. Not even a joke. Child Services should have taken your child from you. 100%. For those who don't know, I saw this via Twitter, courtesy of End Wokeness, who tweeted, "The father transitioned his son into a girl at 3 years old. My daughter will never go through male puberty." With Tyler Preston 20 replying, or retweeting, "How does one know that someone is transgender as early as 3 years old? Between this and Michael Knowles, why can't there be a middle ground on this issue? I think the issue is remarkably simple to resolve. You do not transition children. An adult makes an adult decision on an adult body. Anything done to a child body is mutilation and grooming, both of which in most instances are unacceptable. Additionally, that child's going to grow up believing that you were right for them the whole time, forgetting that you have basically used and abused an impressionable mind to force upon them something they will not understand as a child, nor as an adult, what you actually did to them to violate their future, and their autonomy and their choices."
Today, she's 9 years old, a third grader, and an athlete. That's why the Clausens are celebrating Governor Holcomb's decision to veto a bill that would have banned Kieran and other transgender girls from playing on girls' sports teams at school.
I have done a number of videos on Omegon too, and on BitChute actually, talking about transgender athletes competing in the category for the gender they identify with. In the majority of the cases, the argument is always no. It is why many governing bodies, some of the highest governing bodies in the world, have said no. The reason why is because men hold a significant advantage over their female counterparts. No one is trying to take rights and freedoms away from trans people in this context. They are saying, in the context of that particular sport, it is believed men have, even those that are transitioned, with the testosterone levels being low, an advantage over their biologically female counterparts. Where this might seem like a grey area is that because they've transitioned their son to a girl from such a young age, that child does not have those advantages. Forgetting here, genetics cannot be manipulated at a molecular level like that yet. Therefore, that child will still retain significant advantages growing up. I feel like that is one hell of a distraction from the child abuse you have inflicted. Now, interestingly, I have actually found a video from a channel called Truly. I can't play the video. Well, I can show you a picture, okay? It has a lot of views-ish, not really for a channel that size. But the comments flayed you. Your like to dislike is turned off. The comments destroyed you because, as is right, when we're 2, we don't remember anything. Before the age of 5, your brain barely remembers anything. Or did you not know this? There are things I can vaguely recall from the age of 1 to 5. Things. A few bits here and there in Crawley. And when we first moved to Smallfield when I was 4 years old. I really can't remember the majority though, but I truly dread to think if you'd had more kids what you would have done to more of them. And I mention this video in particular because this one seems very similar, and the guy in the video looks an awful lot like the dickhead with the beard in this video.
There were happy tears shed, there was dancing, and when I told Kieran, she squealed with glee.
Yes, I'm hardly surprised when a child is led to believe as much as they believe about themselves without really having a say on their future because you made the decision for them. They're going to be happy about it because they don't believe or understand that what you have done is fundamentally wrong.
There are people watching this right now who will say people who were born a boy and are living life as a girl are biologically different, so it places them in an unfair advantage.
While I have no doubt that is one question many people have, the actual question many people have, the vast majority that are brainwashed with this bollocks, will ask the following: what gave you the right to do that to your son? This reminds me of a case in Texas where the father, Jeff Younger, was trying to stop his ex-wife from transitioning his son without his consent because she was pushing for it regardless. The kid was 9. The courts in Texas ruled in favor of the mother to proceed with the transition regardless. And I'm sat here like, you guys are fucking dumb. The main question will always be, what gives you the right to do that to a child? The child may be of your own production. Congratulations, you made a child. But if you wanted a daughter that badly, you could have adopted one and not forced something by skipping a journey to get to the finish line.
My daughter will never go through male puberty.
There is a response to this. There's a very big response to it. A rather large one. A glaring elephant in the room, denying biological process. By denying your child the ability to go through a biological fact, a fixed moment of sorts. You're not going to have them go through girl puberty instead, are you? You've essentially turned your child into a Ken doll that you shape and mold into whatever it is you want that child to look or be like. You cannot deny evolution. You cannot deny time. You can try and fight it with puberty blockers all you like, but then all you're left with is an infant inside a body that has been destroyed by your own irresponsible, poor decisions.
He says Kieran will undergo hormone therapy to make her no different than any other girl.
My kid's mental health is more important than your kid's trophy.
Words somewhat ironically chosen from a guy treating his child like a trophy. After all, aren't you on the news talking about equality within sports? using your child as a trophy to appeal to authority. Additionally, your kid's mental health is going to be well and truly affected when they finally realize what you did, if they ever realize what you did. Mental health of children is so important. It's why we nurture and encourage at a young age to explore themselves so they can find out who they are when they're older. It's so that when they are an adult, they can then make all those necessary changes and decisions. You forced it on them. You are a terrible parent. You should be removed from that child's presence. You should be. You should never be allowed to breed again either.